so we can get, that chiropractic propaganda in there, get Doc Mix stuffins off the air. Anyway, please help me welcome Dr. Kaleb Scroggin.
Good morning, everyone. Y'all having a great time this weekend? Awesome, me too. I can't wait to change my business structure and start get a farm and start doing all the things that everybody's been talking about this weekend. I think a big theme for this weekend has been trust and building relationships. I'm going to dovetail off of Dr. Amanda's a little bit. This is not what I've rehearsed so far. A little bit about me. Hi. Usually it's my guy climbing up on stage. So I'm Kaleb Scroggin. I practice in Savannah, Georgia. I've been in practice about 5.5 years. I know most of you in here. If you don't recognize my name, it just means you're not on Facebook a lot. I'm usually in there. We see about 80% of our practice is perinatal and up to 2 years old. And that's like the huge chunk. And it's as we getting further in practice, that is shrinking a little bit because they're just staying, right? But a couple of years ago, I had a family member come in for care. She was pregnant, not like my sister, but I have a big family. But she was pregnant, we took care of her, and then she had baby, and we started taking care of baby. And I don't know how you guys have arrangements with family members, but I'm very upfront and straightforward with them. I do not want to charge you money, but in order for this relationship to happen, you have to do the care. If you don't do the care, that's fine. You just pay like everybody else. Like if you want to do your thing, but we have a care plan. I don't want to charge you, but we have to stick to it. And so she did pregnancy care, brought baby in a few times, and then it was a little bit harder to get a hold of her. And so I knew something was up because we had this conversation. And her mom came in one day, and I said, "Hey, where's she been? What's going on?" And I know postpartum period gets hectic. There's lots of appointments. There's, drive time and things like that. And she kind of gave me that look. Her pediatrician really scared her. She said that she should never bring baby back because she has personally seen 2 babies die from a chiropractic adjustment. And you can't really talk someone out of that feeling, right? You can't say, "Oh no," like that is attached to her soul now. And to be honest, she never came back. And so I talked with her about it. We talked a couple of times, but it just didn't. I don't know, it just didn't feel right anymore. And she's my family. I've known her for 20 years, all right? Married into the family, but still. So what I do, and we've seen the threads on the Facebook group, right? Lots of people offering lots of different options. My option right then that I did was I picked up the phone and I called their office. And it was a big pediatrics office, about 12 pediatricians, lots of staff, just like mini hospital. So front desk answers, "Hi, would like to talk to so-and-so. Is she available? Oh, she's not available right now. Well, can I leave a message?" Okay, I left a message on her voicemail, and I waited about a week, and I didn't get a call back, so I called again, same thing. "Hey, Dr. So-and-so available? Oh, no, she's not available right now. Leave a message. No call back. About a week goes by again. I call again, because I'm not letting this go, right? I call, same thing. So I'm thinking, okay, well, that's not working. So the only other logical thing that I could think that makes sense to me is I'm just going to call her every day until one of us dies, or she answers the phone. And so about 4 days in of this, hi, Dr. Kaleb, how can I help you? And so I said, hi, we have a patient together, and she told me that you saw 2 babies die from chiropractic. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because that's very concerning. And she said, yeah, well, I was in residency, and there's this one, it was the same person for both babies. I was like, okay, so you didn't actually see the patient, you weren't taking care of it. No, I heard about it. Okay, all right, you heard about it in residency, okay. Would you be able to find who that was? And so I can make sure he gets arrested and never sees another person again for the rest of his life? She's like, oh, no, I'm on your team. Let's do this. Let's take their license. They're not doing something correctly. Because I am a pediatric chiropractor. I see 100 babies like this a week. And I've done thousands of hours of training to make sure that these babies have the best care and they are thriving and living their best lives after the birth process. You can probably imagine that I didn't get a name, I didn't get a city, I didn't get any information because likely, yeah. And so I didn't want to call her out and say that whoever told her made this up. But I wanted to make sure that I was very clear that that is not appropriate and that is not what you should expect, and likely not true. So I continue to have lots of patients that have her as a pediatrician, despite our best efforts. And so I ask them, I tell them, hey, this is your pediatrician, tell them that you're seeing me. Tell her that you're seeing me, and I'd like to know what she says. And after that conversation, she just goes, oh, yeah, okay. So baby is this long. She just doesn't naysay anymore. And I thought that was a great win. But today is not about being reactive because she still has never sent someone. She just knows that I'm going to call her if she says anything. And so today's topic is a little bit more about how to build the relationship. I'm sure that Dr. Amanda and Dr. Lona, it didn't just happen. They built a relationship. And so, big button? Yeah. So I was going to talk about that. There's lots of people that you can build relationships with in the allopathic community, right? That allied health, whatever. So OBs, pediatricians, sleep specialists, they have all the different specialties, right? If you have never built a relationship with a medical provider, I would highly suggest not starting with pediatricians. I would start with OBs. OBs, I've heard Dr. Ian talk about it a lot. They want to help their moms have a better pregnancy and birth. So be that resource. But what we're going to do is talk about our system and how we are available or build that structure of communication so that we do it appropriately and we make sure we don't miss anything and we have that connection with them. So why aren't they referring? Most commonly is they just don't know about you. They don't know. And then you have the ones that feel strongly against. They have preconceived notions. I would honestly suggest not focusing on them first. build healthy relationships. They may want a specialist. This is great for this room because you guys focus in what you do. It's very easy to talk to an OB or a pediatrician or whoever and say, hey, no, this is who I see. And they're like, awesome. I was at a pediatrician's conference because I go to those so that I can meet all the pediatricians in the town. They say they don't even like family doctors, like GPs. Like they're like, no, they didn't go and get their specialty. They need to go to a pediatrician. They need to go to this. And so it's not you. It's they want someone who focuses regardless. And so make sure that that is known. You got to build your awareness. Oh, sorry, back. The really questions are you going to help and are you going to hurt and do you know what you're doing? You got to build that thing, that relationship. Awareness, communication, consistency is really the biggest part of this talk because it builds rapport, it builds that relationship. Sorry, I got to come over here to this side now. And so we start with something very simple. Okay, I call it my intake summary. Every person that comes into our office that has an OB or a pediatrician gets a one-page formatted, just like that, document that we fill out. It has little check boxes on all the things that they're common for patients to come in with complaints, right? So you have wellness on there, you have breach on there, so it's two different ones. One's for infants and one's for pregnancy. And so whatever the common things are, we have them on there. Okay, 7 minutes. And then we have a little section at the bottom where it's just categorized. So what did they come in with? Why are they presenting into your office? And then what did our exam find, like our general exam? So something that they could see in their office. So we have more tone on one side, or we have a head tilt, or we have chronic ear infection, something that they're seeing. So then whenever they see it again, it'll click. Then we go into our chiropractic exam. We found subluxation at C1. That was restricting that range of motion. That's why they have this tone issue in their neck. Okay. Then we go into what we did or what we're doing, and we're gently adjusting them, sustained contact, how descriptive you want to be. Remember, they don't know our vernacular, so we're gently correcting this, whatever you want to call it, subluxation, restriction, restoring interference to the nervous system. Then we go into results. Okay, I usually wait about 2 weeks before I send it off, because then we say, now we can say, okay, we have seen a lot of results. And if we didn't see a lot of results, then we say we're continuing. This is our care plan. And so we're really just bringing them into the care because I want them to I want them to understand that I'm not trying to come in and take over. They are their primary care person, and so we are helping, and we want them to know about what we're doing. Then, once I send to the first provider for the first time, we give them a call, and I say, hey, we're about to send over an intake summary, and so I'd love for them to look at it, and I'd love to talk with them about what it is. Okay? Now, if you're not that first pediatrician, it's actually not super hard to get them on the phone. You say, hey, I want to talk about a patient, and they're in my experience. Then you go introduce yourself. I go by their office. We stopped for a little while during COVID, but then I just was like, screw it, I'm going to do it anyway. And they were super excited to get a little card attached to a box of cookies because all of the pharmaceutical companies had stopped buying them lunch. So they hadn't had anybody come in 6 months, and they're like, yes, come in to our office. And it's just to meet them. When I'm talking on the phone with someone, or if I'm talking in person with someone, I don't use terminology, I don't use vernacular. I just say, hey, I focus on helping babies, I focus on helping pregnancy. I want them to leave the conversation and be like, that guy sounds nice. Like, that's it. I just want them to like me. Then we go into bridging that gap from likability and trust that I'm a good person to going into a little bit more specific stuff. Once I've sent 10 intake summaries to a provider, I call them and I say, hey, we're consistently seeing, your patients, and I want to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing with them because we're helping your patients a lot. So let's talk a little bit more about that. And can I send you an info sheet on a little bit more detailed of what we're doing? And so we have the condition right in the big thing. So I have different ones made up for different types of providers. And then the small print is what we're doing. We're actually analyzing their system and making sure that they're balanced and their nervous system is communicating properly with their body. And this results in this symptom not needing to be there anymore. It builds that trust, and I actually do a little QR code on there that a video that I make specifically for them. And it's like a 10-minute video where let's talk ear infections. They're getting the ear infection because their ear can't drain. So we're not treating the ear infection, we're helping everything drain. We do that by doing this, this, and this. And so that they can really understand a little bit more like format. And consistency is key, okay? So right in there, we've already had like 5 touch points, right? Where even when I go in with the cookies, I don't bring business cards, so that when they ask me for business cards, I come back next week and I have rack cards and business cards so that I see them again. It's a little more imprinted, and you can choose to do that or not. You're a person, you're not a salesperson to them. You are a provider that's also providing for these people. I haven't had a chance to take Dr. Iram's course yet, but I'm sure that it's great. And so maybe next time there's lots of ways that I can improve this. But we have a lot of referrals from OBs. We get at least 2 a week from OBs in our area, and pediatricians a little bit less, but we have about 4 or 5 pediatricians that refer to us. And so it's just building the system, building the relationship and the trust in the community, and keep at it. Like, have a list of people that you call every month to say, hey, I'm here, have any questions for me? Just checking in. There's one guy that'll never ever send to anyone, but I call and ask about his kids and stuff. He sent me one person. It wasn't a baby, but yeah, it's not going to be a magic bullet, but it is definitely worth it in our experience. All right, thank you so much.
Relationships with medical doctors, with therapists, with pediatricians, OBs, midwives, birth